Good morning, all. Welcome back to session number 6. So, in this session, we are going to discuss about the refrigeration system. This is the table of content for session number 6, which includes the introduction, terminologies used in refrigeration system, refrigerants, and finally types of refrigeration system. So, coming to introduction, first here we'll try to understand the refrigeration process, then basic working principle of the refrigeration system. Okay, so refrigeration means cooling a space or system to a lower or maintaining its temperature lower than the ambient or surrounding temperature. So this is called as a refrigeration system, and the device which is used for this purpose is called as refrigerator. Okay, and this diagram shows the basic working principle of the refrigeration system. So this is low temperature reservoir, this is high temperature reservoir and refrigeration system. Okay, heat absorption and heat rejected with respect to work input. So the refrigeration system transfer heat from low temperature reservoir, this is the low temperature reservoir, from low temperature reservoir to high temperature reservoir. So this is the basic working principle of the refrigeration system. So these are the different terminologies used in the refrigeration system. Those are nothing but refrigeration effect, ton of refrigeration, ice making capacity, coefficient of performance COP, then relative COP. Okay, so now we'll try to understand each term. So first one is refrigeration effect. Okay, so refrigeration effect means the amount of heat absorbed in the refrigerated chamber per unit mass of the refrigerant. This is known as refrigerating effect. Okay, and more refrigerating effect means less mass of refrigerant required. So second one is second term is ton of refrigeration. So generally the capacity of refrigeration system is expressed in tons of refrigeration, which is the unit of refrigeration. Okay, and it is defined as the quantity of heat absorbed in order to form 1 ton of ice in 24 hours when the initial temperature of water is at 0 degrees Celsius. This is known as ton of refrigeration. And the next term is ice making capacity. So ice making capacity is the amount of ice produced per unit time. So this is called as ice making capacity. So next term is coefficient of performance, that is nothing but COP. COP, as the name indicates, is a measure of performance of the refrigeration cycle. Okay, and it is defined as the ratio of of heat absorbed in the refrigerated chamber to the work input to the compressor, or simply we can say COP equals to heat absorbed by work input. So this is known as COP. Then last term is relative COP. So relative COP is defined as the ratio of COP, theoretical COP to actual COP. So this is called as relative COP. Then in this slide, we are going to discuss about the refrigerants and properties of the refrigerants. Okay, so refrigerants are nothing but the compound, or it's a mixture. So it's used to pump the heat from one system to another system, and these are the properties of the good refrigerants. Okay, it should have good thermal conductivity for better heat transfer. Then it should be non-toxic, non-flammable, and non-corrosive, and it should have high coefficient of performance with high latent of evaporation, and it should have low initial cost along with the low maintenance cost. Okay, initial cost and the maintenance cost should be low. So these are the few important properties of the good refrigerants. Okay, so in the next slide we are going to discuss about the commonly used refrigerants. So this is the list of commonly used refrigerants in refrigeration system, and those are nothing but ammonia, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, methyl chloride, and freon. Okay, first we'll discuss about ammonia. Okay, generally ammonia is having high latent heat around 1300 kilojoule per kg and low specific volume compared to other refrigerant. Okay, and it produces high refrigeration effect even in the small refrigerator. Okay, and it is environmental friendly. Ammonia is environmental friendly because it won't affect the ozone layer, and it is widely used in cold storage as well as the ice making plants. Okay, along with this, ammonia is also having some drawbacks. Okay, with respect to the domestic refrigeration system, and those drawbacks are nothing but it's toxic, it's flammable and irritating, and it's having some properties, food destroying properties. So because of these disadvantages, so ammonia is not preferable for the domestic refrigeration system. Okay, next one is carbon dioxide. Next refrigerant is carbon dioxide. So the efficiency of the refrigerator by using the carbon dioxide as a refrigerant is low compared to other refrigerant. The efficiency will low. That's why the carbon dioxide refrigerant is not preferred. Okay. Then coming to sulfur dioxide, third refrigerant, sulfur dioxide. So in earlier days, sulfur dioxide was one of the most commonly used refrigerants in especially domestic refrigerator system. Okay, so it's having better thermodynamic property. It has low refrigerating effect and high specific volume. So along with this, sulfur dioxide is also having some drawbacks. Okay, when it combines with water and forms sulfurous and sulfuric acids. Okay, which are corrosive to metal. So that's why the sulfuric dioxide also not preferable for the domestic refrigeration system. So next refrigerant is methyl chloride. Methyl chloride was used earlier in domestic as well as small scale industrial applications. And the drawback of methyl chloride is it will burn under some conditions. Okay, so that's why methyl chloride also not preferred. Okay, and last refrigerant is freon. Freon group of refrigerant is used almost universally in especially domestic refrigerators. Okay, and these refrigerants are colorless and almost odorless, non-toxic, non-inflammable, non-explosive, non-corrosive. So these are the advantages of the freon refrigerant compared to other refrigerant. Okay, so especially the freon 12 and 22 are the two freon refrigerant commonly used in the domestic refrigerator as well as in air conditioning system. So this is about refrigerant, commonly used refrigerants in the refrigeration system. So coming to classification, so refrigeration system is classified into two important category. First one is vapor compression refrigeration. Second one is vapor absorption refrigeration. So first we'll try to understand the vapor compression refrigeration system. So figure number 6.2 shows the working of vapor compression refrigeration system, and the important components of vapor compression refrigeration systems are evaporator. This is evaporator. This one is condenser, sorry, compressor, and this is condenser, and this one is throttle valve. Okay, along with these components, so here in the schematic we have four different state points, and each state point will define the status or condition of the refrigerant with respect to the particular component. Okay, so say for example one, so this is the condition of refrigerant. So refrigerant is low, having low temperature with low pressure liquid. So at state point one, it's in liquid form with low temperature with and low pressure. Okay, once it enters the evaporator, this is the evaporator. After entering the evaporator, due to variation in the latent heat, there is a change in phase, right? So it converts liquid to vapor in the evaporator. So at state point two, we are having low temperature, low pressure vapor. After phase change, so after evaporation, here we are having at state point two, the low temperature, low pressure vapor. And this low temperature, low pressure vapor sent to the compressor, where the pressure and temperature of the refrigerant will increases. Okay, so after the compressor, after the compression, okay, at state point 3, the refrigerant is having high temperature, high pressure, and that's in vapor state only. There is no change in phase. Okay, only the pressure and temperature increases in the compressor due to compression. Okay, so from compressor, high temperature, high pressure vapor enters to the condenser. Okay, whereas in condenser, due to variation of latent heat, there is a phase change from vapor to liquid in condenser. Okay, so here after condensation at state point 4, the refrigerant is having high temperature and high pressure, that's in liquid state. Okay, that is state point 4. This is the state point 4. It's having high temperature and high pressure, and the status of the refrigerant is liquid form. Okay, then this high temperature, high pressure liquid passes to the throttle valve, where the pressure and temperature suddenly drops. Okay, due to expansion, the pressure and temperature reduces suddenly. Okay, so after throttling, after expansion, okay, the status of the refrigerant is low temperature, low pressure liquid. Okay, so again the cycle will repeat. So this is the working condition or working principle of the vapor compression refrigeration system. And second one, this is the vapor absorption system. And figure number 6.3 shows the working of vapor absorption refrigeration system. And the important components are evaporator, absorber, pump, heat exchanger, heating coil or generator, condenser, and throttle valve. So these are the important components of the vapor absorption refrigeration system. Okay, so here also we are having 6 different state points with respect to different components, and each state point will define the status or condition of the refrigerant with respect to the each component. Okay, so here in state point 1, okay, the refrigerant ammonia, it's in liquid form and it's having low temperature and low pressure. So state point 1 is liquid ammonia with low temperature and low pressure. Once it enters into the evaporator, due to variation of latent heat, okay, there is a change in phase. Okay, so here at state point 2, low temperature, low pressure, vapor ammonia. Okay, after phase change, low temperature, low pressure, vapor ammonia. Okay, so then the low pressure ammonia, yeah, the low pressure ammonia vapor is passes to the absorber. This is the absorber. Okay, so in the absorber, the low pressure ammonia is dissolved in the weak ammonia solution at low pressure and becomes strong ammonia solution in the absorber. Okay, where it's mixed with the weak ammonia solution and becomes strong ammonia solution. Then the strong ammonia solution is pumped to the generator, okay, through the heat exchanger at high pressure. Okay, so here we are using pump because of that. At high pressure, we are sending that strong ammonia solution to the generator through the heat exchanger. Okay, so in heat exchanger, the heat exchange here, heat exchange between the strong ammonia solution and weak ammonia solution. Weak ammonia solution which is flowing from generator to the absorber, and strong ammonia solution, it flows from absorber to the generator through heat exchanger. So in heat exchanger, there is a heat exchange between weak ammonia solution and strong ammonia solution. Okay, and in the generator, by using external heating source, okay, the strong ammonia solution is separated by the vapor. Okay, and that separated vapor, due to heating, the separated vapor at state point 3. So state point 3 is nothing but high temperature, high pressure vapor. Okay, after heating, we are separating the vapor, and that vapor we are sending to the condenser, where again there is a variation in the latent heat. Due to that condensation, there is a change in phase, and because of that, At state point 4, this is the state point 4. At state point 4, we are getting high temperature, high pressure liquid ammonia. Okay, so after phase change at state point 4, the status of the refrigerant is high temperature, high pressure liquid. So then we are sending that high temperature, high pressure liquid to the throttle valve. Okay, here this is the throttle valve. So in throttle valve, due to expansion, there is a sudden decrease in the pressure as well as the temperature. So after expansion, we are getting low temperature, low pressure liquid ammonia, again at state point number 1. So here again we are getting low temperature, low pressure liquid ammonia. Then this cycle repeats. So this is about vapor absorption refrigeration system. Okay, so next next one is domestic refrigeration system. Okay, and figure number 6.4 shows the working of domestic refrigeration system. And here also we are having some important components like compressor. This is the compressor, and this part is condenser. Then this is evaporator. I mean, in the refrigerator cabinet, we are having evaporator or freezer along with the capillary tube. So instead of expansion valve, so expansion valve we used in vapor absorption and vapor compression refrigeration system. So instead of that expansion device, so here we are using capillary tube. So this is the difference between the domestic and vapor compression or vapor absorption refrigeration system. Okay, and coming to working of this domestic refrigeration system, the compressor sucks the refrigerant from the evaporator. This is the compressor, and from evaporator it sucks the refrigerant. Okay, and it's discharge high pressure and high temperature refrigerant. Okay, from compressor it discharge because compression will take place in the compressor. Because of that thing, we are getting high pressure and high temperature. Okay, then the refrigerant from the compressor enters to the condenser where it is cooled by atmospheric air. This is the condenser. Here we are trying to cool it with respect to the atmospheric air. Okay. Then the refrigerant leaving the condenser enters the expansion device. Expansion device means, as I told earlier, instead of expansion device, we are using capillary tube in the domestic refrigerants, right? Where pressure and temperature of the refrigerant drops suddenly. Okay. So then the refrigerant at very low pressure and temperature enters the evaporator or freezer. Okay, this is the evaporator or freezer. So you can see the temperature variation here. So here in the cabinet we are having minus 25 degrees Celsius, and in the evaporator, so variation of minus 25 degrees Celsius to minus 15 degrees Celsius. So during the entry of this cabinet, right, it's 7 degrees Celsius, right, then 15 degrees Celsius, then minus 25 degrees Celsius. This is the temperature variation in the domestic refrigeration system. So here we are comparing vapor compression system with vapor absorption refrigeration system. Okay, so in vapor compression refrigeration system, we have more wear and tear and produces more noise due to the more moving parts like compressor and all those things. Okay, whereas in vapor absorption system, less noise compared to compression system, vapor compression, because in vapor absorption system there are less moving parts. Because of that thing, we are getting less noise. Okay, and electric power is needed to drive the system in vapor compression system, but whereas in vapor absorption system, no need of electric power. Okay, then in vapor compression system, coefficient of performance is more compared to vapor absorption system, and in vapor absorption system we are generally we are getting less COP compared to vapor compression system. Okay, and next difference is mechanical energy is supplied through the compressor. Okay, whereas in vapor absorption, instead of mechanical energy, we are supplied in heat energy. So heat energy is effectively utilized in the vapor absorption system. Okay, and in vapor compression system, at partial load, performance is poor. I mean, performance will drop. Okay, but whereas in vapor absorption system, at partial load condition, right, the performance will not affected. Means at partial load there is no impact on the performance in the vapor absorption system. Then Charging of refrigerant is simple in vapor compression system, whereas little bit complicated in the vapor absorption system. And the energy requirement is low in vapor compression, whereas the energy requirement is high in vapor absorption system. Okay, and in vapor compression system, more chances of refrigerant leakage because of more moving components. Okay, and in vapor absorption system, there is no leakage. So these are the few important difference between vapor compression system and vapor absorption refrigeration system. So here coming to MCQs based on the refrigeration system. First question, a refrigeration system options are removes heat from low temperature body and delivers it to high temperature body. Second option is removes heat from high temperature body and delivers it to low temperature body. Third option is rejects energy to low temperature body, and last option is none of the above. Okay, and the right answer is A, because refrigeration system as in previous slide we discussed, right, especially in working principle of the refrigeration system, okay, which removes heat from low temperature body and it delivers to high temperature body. So right answer is A. So second question, 1 ton of refrigerating machine means that the options are 1 ton is the total mass of machine. Second option, 1 ton of refrigerant is used. Third option, 1 ton of water can be converted into ice. And last option is 1 ton of ice when melts from and 0 degrees Celsius in 24 hours, and the refrigerant effect is equivalent to 210 kilojoule per minute. Means this is nothing but definition of the ton of refrigeration. Okay, so right answer is D. Okay, ton of refrigeration means it's a conversion. Okay, and third question, the ratio of heat extracted in the refrigeration to the work done on refrigerant is called, first option COP of refrigerant, second option COP of the heat pump, and third option relative COP, and fourth option is refrigerating efficiency. So as we discussed in the terminologies or different terms used in the refrigeration system, the ratio of heat extracted in the refrigeration to the work done in the refrigerator is called as COP of the refrigeration. So right answer is A. Next question, air refrigeration cycle is used in first option commercial refrigerators, second option domestic refrigerators, third is air conditioning, and last option is aircraft refrigeration system or gas liquefaction. Okay, and right answer is D, because air refrigeration cycle is used in the aircraft refrigeration system. And last question, the temperature of ammonia after compression in vapor compression system is, it lies between first option 20 to 50 degrees Celsius, second option 50 to 70 degrees Celsius, third option 70 to 110 degrees Celsius, and last option is none of the above. But the right answer is the temperature of the ammonia or the refrigerant after compression in the compressor, right? It lies between 70 to 110 degrees Celsius. Okay. And these are the frequently asked questions with respect to refrigeration system. First question with respect to the definitions of different terms used in a refrigeration system. And the second question is again definition and application of the refrigeration system. And third question is vapor compression refrigeration system with schematic or with working flow diagram, the vapor compression system. Okay, and fourth one is vapor absorption system with schematic, and last question is it's regarding domestic refrigeration system. So these are the few important questions sorted out from the previous year question bank. And outcome of this session. Okay, at the end of this session, students should be able to answer the various desirable properties of the refrigerant and commonly used refrigerants and vapor compression and vapor absorption refrigeration system and domestic refrigeration system. So these are the references for session number 6. And with this, I'm ending session number 6. Next, we'll meet in session number 7. Thank you.